So we've been hearing a lot about the 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks actually started on Chodesh Av Assembly on the 17th of Tammuz during the holidays. And they lead up to Tisha B'Av next week. But tonight, being Rosh Chodesh Av, starts a new phase. It's called the 9 days. And between the 3 weeks and the 9 days, and then moving towards next week, the restrictions, the halachic obligations to reduce in those things that give us joy and give us comfort, they increase. From tonight, the halacha says that we stop drinking wine and eating meat unless on Shabbat, and various other things that we do. And next week still, the week in which Tisha B'Av falls, we get a little bit stricter. And the day before Tisha B'Av, then Tisha B'Av itself, is a day, as we've heard, of many restrictions. And it's fascinating that the halacha takes us along this path, stage by stage, day by day, to make us feel more of the pain leading up to Tisha B'Av. And perhaps the halacha does that because we need to be reminded. We need to be taken away from our, literally, comfort zone and put into a new milieu and a new environment and a new way of experiencing life, which is harsher and less comfortable. And the reason for that is because perhaps the greatest tragedy of Tisha B'Av is that we do not feel the tragedy of Tisha B'Av. And we need the halacha to create a feeling following our actions, because that's the better way around than the other way, but our actions lead us to feel that pain. Because we live quite comfortable lives, especially here in Australia, especially here in Mount Scopus. What does it mean to feel the pain of Tisha B'Av? It means to realize that what we're living through is not normal, it's not how it should be. The Jewish people shouldn't be in exile. And even though our generation is privileged to see the rebirth of Israel, it's not normal for Israel to be constantly at war, for the citizens of Israel to feel so much fear, for there not to be peace between Israel and the Palestinians. It's not the way it should be. And it's not the way it should be that we don't have a temple in the center of Jerusalem to remind us of God's presence amongst us. And it's not the way it should be that there is so much division and factionalism as we can see in Israel at this very moment. And all these things need to change. But they'll only change if we feel the need to change them. And that's why the halacha takes us by the hand from the comfort zone through the 3 weeks, through the 9 days, to the day before Tisha B'Av, to Tisha B'Av itself, to help us feel that pain of not living the normal life that we should be. And then, ultimately, once we do feel that pain, once we are aware of that tragedy, then of course it comes up to us to try and change the world around us, to be more connected to Israel, to be more connected to Jewish life. But there's one thing that's perhaps easiest of all. As is well known, the rabbis tell us that the second temple was destroyed because of sinat chinam, because of causeless hatred, because of a lack of unity amongst the Jewish people. When we talk about tragedy, I think it's a tragedy that there are students in this school who don't feel included, who don't feel that they're part of the social scene, who don't feel that they have friends necessarily to go to hang out with. And it's up to us to change that. And we can change it very simply, by showing more sensitivity to the needs of others, by understanding more of a situation other people can find themselves in. And so when it comes to reversing the tragedy of Tisha B'Av, that's a big endeavor. It requires us to work as a nation, it requires us to work as a people, but it also requires us to work as individuals in the most simplest of ways. And as we feel that increasing pain as we come towards Tisha B'Av, we should realize that it may not be possible to change the whole world and make it perfect, but at least through our actions, here and now, today in our school, we can make the world just a little bit better. Thank you.